everyone. Welcome back to Charmed Hard with a Vengeance. After coming back from the break, we had another break. And now we're back from the second break.
Yeah. So we're on season 4 now?
Season 4.0. This was season 1, episode 12, You're Dead to Me. Which, I don't know, is that good wordplay, Phelan?
No.
I feel like it's kind of the level of like the little outros I do at the end of Baywatching. Like it's sort of vaguely related to something, but you know, could use a second pass.
Yeah, maybe.
So in this episode, a bunch of stuff happened involving Macy looking up her resurrection as a child. It had Harry dealing with his issues with his son, and Mel is, you know, in the background doing whatever.
And most importantly, Maggie goes to a street light party.
She goes to a street light party. God. Phelan.
Best plot ever.
Before we get too deep into this, I just wanted to say a couple things beforehand that came up. I wanted to mention that Charmed has been renewed for a second season. Mm-hmm. So everyone who's like, it'll never make it, you don't know how far the CW will go for middling shows. They renewed Supernatural. I think they'll keep Charmed around at least for a season 2.
Supernatural 85, so I mean they can give Charmed a second season.
Supernatural, the retirement season. So we'll have season 2 to look forward to. And I wanted to point out one of my favorite comments from last time, which was, they pet cemeteried Macy!
Yeah, I wish they did.
It kinda, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
I think we learned from this episode, sometimes dead is better.
Yep. Better than being on Charmed.
So Phelan, overall, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Had a really confused message, I thought, with the main plot line in the end.
The necromancer?
Yeah, unless there's something more to that, which I mean is possible, but I also feel like it's very possible this was all there was to it. And if that's the case, it was messy. I don't think that was told very well if that's the end of that. Like, it's uneven, really. I thought there were some good parts to it, but what was good I also felt was a bit rushed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's sort of the issue we've been having with all of this, and the fact that, like, whether it's good or bad, it's going to be done in 2 seconds or move to the next stage very quickly, so you don't really get any time to absorb any of the good parts or the bad parts or anything.
And they gave some moments for, like, the Harry plot line. Like, I mean, and there was some trying there. I felt like it was rushed too much, obviously.
It felt like, to me, there was 2.5 episodes in this.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, I didn't mind exploring any of them. Well, I mean, the Maggie thing I didn't really care about, but but the stuff with the necromancer, learning about Macy's past, and the stuff with Harry's son, both of those I think should have had their own episodes dedicated to them, rather than this, which felt just sort of jumping around. And I was interested to find out what was going to happen with either of them, but it didn't feel like we were getting the full picture of anything here.
I feel like this show does this a lot. I felt like, you know, the people were separated kind of clunkily, like saying, like, we are now not a part of their plot, we are doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And the show does that a lot. It's just like so-and-so doesn't seem to care what the other one's doing because they're having their own little adventure in an episode.
Nothing seems to matter in this show. There's so many things, and this one was one of the worst ones, I think, for people dropping very important things on someone within a line and they move on in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
This happened quite a few times. Like, first of all, we didn't even get to see Mel find out about the whole, like, Macy was resurrected from the dead thing. She just knows in the scene that we see her with Maggie at the table, and then they tell Harry about it. So, like, we didn't even get to see Mel find out about it. She just does. And then Harry finds out about it and then doesn't care. And then Harry drops the thing about his son, and then the thing about his powers, and all those things are just moved on very quickly. Like, when Maggie walks in, and she's like, hey, it's that one lady from the store that I know, Nancy with a K. And then she's like, she's the necromancer that resurrected me from the dead. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then they just move on. And, like, all of these things need time and, a couple seconds to maybe, like, let something sink in for a second.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't like when it shows where everyone's gonna bicker over something, but I don't like the opposite either. I don't like the fact that, like, nothing ever affects anyone. They're never, like, bothered by anything or upset. It just... Why are we invested?
Yeah, I mean, then they don't have to bicker, but they can have, like, some conflict, like, meaningful conflict about it. Not just being, ugly with each other over it.
Yeah, that's the right description. Meaningful conflict. Instead of what I like to point out about Original Charmed, pointless drama.
It's like, like what they're doing with Maggie and Parker right now. Like, they're not having meaningful conflict between those two. They're just having the same discussion basically every time they see each other. He goes, hey, I'm not evil. I'm trying to be better. And she's like, I can't hear this right now. Bye. Like, if they, like, actually had them talk about things, like, and she was finding it hard to get past, and, like, make them have meaningful conflict about it. Actually talk about things beyond just initial stage conversation every time of, I wish I wasn't a half demon, but, I'm trying to get an operation to get that removed and stuff, so.
He's become the new Galvin. And therefore become the new old Daryl.
Yeah.
Not even, I like Daryl, but I don't like Parker.
Speaking of which, there was no Galvin in this episode, so it gets a -1 for that.
I never thought I'd say this, but yeah, it needs more Galvin.
Yeah, they somehow turned us around on Galvin.
Galvin erasure. I want to talk about Parker, okay, because everything about him in this episode was hilariously lame, okay?
Yeah.
Maggie goes to this stoplight party. With the theme is that everyone dresses in different stoplight colors to signal, like, what stage of relationship they're looking for or in or moved on or whatever. Like, do you want to have sex or don't you, kind of?
Yeah. Green is like bone me, yellow is like, I don't know why I'm here. Red is I definitely shouldn't be here. Like, I don't understand anything about this stupid stoplight party thing. Like, they have, like, street signs too, like, walk, don't walk, and then, like, for vehicles, go and stop. And
yeah, this is elaborate.
Yeah, like, where'd they get this?
Someone had to do something very illegal to get that stoplight.
Yeah, like, they had multiple lights in there, too. Like, how'd they get all this? Like, someone was, like, taking these and, like, then rewiring them and stuff. Like, who is doing this crap for the stupid party?
Lucy is. Lucy was doing it because Alistair told her to do it.
It basically comes down to, like, horny people party, and then people that shouldn't be at horny people party, and why would they go to horny people party if they're not interested in that? Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't... All the people in red having the worst night of their lives going to this party.
And, like, most of it's green, so it looks like it's St. Patrick's Day with a few confused people in there.
And all the colorblind people are like, shit, what? I don't even know what color I'm wearing. Yeah. Skitch is in there like, all right, guys, tell me what color I picked.
Made a big mistake going to that party.
Skitch, you fool. So the stuff with, like, Lucy makes more sense by the end of it. I was gonna make fun of it, but it took on a new kind of thing to make fun of later, which I'll go into. But she convinces Maggie to go to this party, and Maggie is not sure about going because she's worried that Parker will be there. And I don't know what's dumber, the fact that they assumed half-demon Parker is just gonna continue with his normal college activities.
Mm-hmm. Or that he actually did. He's just hanging. He's like a bartender there. He's hanging by the drinks. Did he just volunteer for this? What? Apparently.
Who wants to be the bartender at the party? Why can't you just have self-serve?
Well, I mean, especially he's wearing red, and it's like I said with any person wearing red at this stupid party, like, why are they there? Like, he doesn't want to see a bunch of people getting together, I assume, since he's all...
It was a message to Maggie. He's gone.
Except he hasn't, because he's wearing red. And she comes up to him and goes, why are you wearing red? And he's like, you know why.
Well, I thought red meant, like, no relationship, not interested. What does red mean?
It just meant, basically, I shouldn't be at this boning party.
Cool.
Well, it meant, like, he's wearing red because he's not interested in a relationship because he doesn't want to get together with someone else other than her.
Okay. He's professing his love for the Maggie one.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's there in green, of course, like, oh, I'm not willing to bone anyone who comes by in another green suit.
I loved this exchange. She comes up to him to ask for some margaritas or whatever. 2 margs. No one shortens margaritas to margs. That doesn't happen. Sorry, guys.
What did Lucy call it? Dronks? Let's get some dronks.
Get some dronks. She goes up to Parker and he says, "You gonna be mad at me forever?" And she goes, "You ruined dating for me forever." Both of you are fucking idiots. You're dating for me forever with your half-demon shit. Why are you mad about that, though? I mean, what's the big deal?
Like, you sold us out to your dad. No, I didn't. Oh. Yes, you didn't. Whatever. I hate you.
Because I'm walking on sunshine. I've moved on.
Did enjoy, like, Lucy and Maggie both talking about their mutual ex together. Like, oh, who cares about him?
Cheers, bitches.
It's like the show's desperately trying to find ways to make Lucy still be relevant.
I adore that. Just make Lucy do whatever. Because she fits in no boxes, and therefore every box.
Yeah.
She's kind of like season 1 of Buffy Cordelia, where they're like, I guess. We'll figure out something. Yeah, I just keep thinking of, like, Happy Death Day. She just seems like her before the redemption arc, you know? Like, just the blank, airheaded kind of college chick.
Mm-hmm. But without a story that helps explain why she's like that.
You don't know Lucy's tragic backstory. Perhaps we will find out.
We'll get into it, how she's a broken person.
And then we'll find out that she is the 4th sister, who is also Latina and half black.
Yeah.
Guys, I feel like you're going in the wrong direction. Check your white privilege badge.
Kill Whitey!
The only reason her mom couldn't see her was that she made a promise that just her one day she couldn't tell a lie. And if she did, she couldn't see her daughter Lucy. And her mom loves lying, so...
I have one request. That you give her a name that starts with an M. No, bitch. It's Lucy. You got some explaining to do. Yeah, I do love that twist at the end. Lucy is a sleeper agent for Alistair?
Yeah. He's getting Lucy over his, like, I don't know, how do you explain, like, what we saw in their dumb little Skype call or whatever? It's just like, she's brainwashed or just she's in her sleeper mode, like you said the keyword, so she's in the mode where he's programming her basically until the call's over, and then she goes back to normal and doesn't know what happened.
They didn't really do this very clearly. This is just us guessing that's what it's supposed to be. It's hard to tell what's supposed to be airheaded or what's possibly sleeper agent, but she was talking kind of robotic, so that's my thought, that he has brainwashed her in some way.
She like shakes her head after, like she doesn't know
He's
what
mesmerized
just
her.
happened. Right.
Can you do that over Skype? Mesmerize someone while you're drinking your margs?
Yeah, I love that he's on vacation.
he's keeping it on the down low while the charmed ones are they already know about him, so he's gotta get into witness protection.
Well, he gets Lucy to get Maggie and Parker back together because he does that. And question mark equals profit. I don't know. Gonna love to hear the reason that benefits him.
I got no idea. To annoy the audience.
They're back together. Ha ha, that means I'm back. What?
Huh?
I don't know. Bye.
Okay, we should talk about the necromancer plot going on with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, the beginning of the episode is explaining the whole backstory of what happened, which a lot of shows would be like, you gotta find out why they had to resurrect her from the dead. And they're like, whatever, let's just tell them. So Marisol is with the other guy. I don't remember the name of Macy's dad, if they said it.
I didn't catch it if they did.
I'm sure they've said it, but I didn't catch his name.
Daryl.
Daryl.
He's kind of a Daryl in the scene. He didn't get to do anything.
I know.
He's just kind of standing there.
All right. Wait, I don't know about resurrecting our daughter from the dead. Shut up, Daryl.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
She's gonna be a demon.
Can't resurrect her from the dead. I'm a cop. I'm a cop. They take a necromancer out of Tartarus into the attic to raise the baby from the dead. They don't explain why the baby died. We can assume there were some sort of complications that babies have sometimes. I don't know if this was meant to be anything more than natural causes. So the necromancer brings the baby back to life, but the catch is after 2 years, they can't...
She turns into a pumpkin.
Yes. They can live happily ever after for 2 years, but after that, Marisol can never see her daughter again. If she lays eyes on her, she will die.
I guess good thing they didn't find that out when that demon was cosplaying as their mom.
That's true. They haven't actually seen real mom yet, right?
No.
It's all been flashbacks?
Yeah, I don't think she's actually seen her.
Okay. I don't know if that means, like, as a ghost, or...
Yeah.
It's not real eyes, it's ghost eyes, so maybe it's gotta be tangible.
Yeah, we'll probably, like, wave that away whenever her ghost comes to see them. Be like, oh, well, it doesn't count with ghost eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what up with that scene when they go back to the 80s and Marisol was scared that there was something wrong with the baby? Is it just supposed to be, like, health complications now?
Hmm.
Because when they went to the 80s in that previous episode, Marisol's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I'm scared there's something wrong with the baby. And then they were clearly hinting at whatever storyline they were going with at that point. But now that's not happening. And the baby was already born by that point, it looked like. It didn't look like a stillborn baby. I could be wrong. But regardless, like... what is she talking about? Like, maybe it's just supposed to be she thinks some health problems are going on?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I guess that's what they'll explain it away with, but it's...
I'm really worried that I'm gonna have to resurrect this baby after she's born.
Yeah, and then something will be wrong. She'll have da Evie in her. Da, da, da. Macy's understandably depressed about this, and I liked that they did bring up the fact that Harry also was resurrected from the dead, And he talks to her about his feelings on the situation and that he's still dealing with how he feels about this, even after he was resurrected in 1957. This confusion about cheating death and trying to find answers to your identity and what this means. And I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah, that was one of the better scenes. A lot of the better scenes where Harry is again.
Well, that's a good story parallel. It's not the same thing as, like, trying to shoehorn something in. Like, they had their separate stories, but similarities that they brought together.
And then he's like, anyway, and I'm not part of your story anymore in this episode.
Yeah, and then he's like, peace. And then he went off to do his own thing. They brought back an old classic for this show. Macy says to Harry, in science, when something dies, it doesn't come back. I mean, actually, if you want to get technical, you could be technically dead, scientifically, and still be brought back. I mean, you don't use magic for it, but, you could be clinically dead and then brought back to life. That would be a scientific way to say that.
There's those plants that make, like, ant zombies or whatever.
So, Macy, not doing very good science here. Not a completely accurate scientific statement. Better consult the science app for this. So she decides that she is going to summon the necromancer that resurrected her to find answers. And when she summons her, they do this pretty cool waterfall effect. Like, there's a waterfall of blood that she comes through. I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, that scene was pretty neat looking for that stuff. The necromancer it's kind of funny, like, that she just shows up wearing, like, her work uniform.
She's got, like, a name tag, and she's like, what? Last time we saw her, she's all spooky and old and wearing Tales from the Crypt outfit or whatever. Like, Crypt
Well,
Keeper.
she wasn't old. She was the same age.
Didn't they give her, like, some sort of maybe it was just demon makeup.
Yeah, she's just looking more evil, I guess, or
like veiny makeup and stuff.
Otherworldly. Yeah, she's like doing spells and stuff, so.
Okay. Maybe that was the point of it. But she was looking kind of Crypt Keeper. And now she's like K-Mart-keeper.
Yeah.
So she is angry because she is currently under a concealment spell because a witch is after her. And that spell's been broken by Macy, so she asks her to help make a spell to get rid of this witch.
Is she, like, under this protection spell when she goes to work at this place?
Well, I mean, I guess it's just supposed to be so that magically she can't be discovered.
Right, but she has to cast a spell wherever she goes, or?
Yeah, I think it's just a spell over her, like keep her off the radar.
If you moved her to their house, I'm just wondering, like, why.
I don't think it had to do with her location. I think it had to do with the fact that a big spell was used to bring her over, and that would either interfere with it or send, like, a big, like, magic calling card, basically, to, like, a beacon to show where she's at.
Like, how does the other witch see this?
Because like, she's, I don't know, scrying for her or something? I don't know.
Like 24/7? Just in case?
I don't know. I didn't look into it.
I'm just wondering what puts this on the witch's radar and, like, that quick and stuff. Because it's not like, if the charmed ones are looking for someone, it's not like they have, like, a magic radar dish.
Maybe she's got an alarm system that's got, like, it's like, like the radar, and then, like, ping, it picked something up, and she's like, I got you, bitch.
Yeah.
Nancy with the K.
She's got a better setup. She actually gives a crap about her witching, unlike the charmed one. She's actually got a setup for this stuff.
Yeah, she's better at it than they are. I do like it's just some random ass witch, and they're so scared of her, and she can get out of the chains and do all this other stuff, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, so she says that she's in hiding because this witch lied about her to the elders and got her sent to Tartarus for no reason. Because, what'd she say? That she killed her boyfriend or something, and she's saying she didn't. Was that what the why?
She was saying that there's basically a prejudice against necromancers, and that's why, because elders don't like them, they're more inclined to believe other people. So if you spread the lies long enough, people in power spread them, then people will start to believe it. And I think what she's trying to do is manipulate Macy's feelings about things in the real world right now, and what they're doing is trying to manipulate the audience with it too. That's why they do like the Trump parallels and the government in power. You know, if they spread lies long enough, people are going to believe it. So you're supposed to sympathize with Nancy, and they're misdirecting you into thinking that she is an innocent party who's misunderstood.
Right. I didn't really like that story though. Like, because like she's, basically they go, oh yeah, all necromancers are bad. You need to side with me because I'm a witch and we're like one of us mentality. I'm like, so that's a really weird message to send. Like, basically you're saying like, judge people immediately based on like if they're different than you or whatever, or your first impression is the right one. Like, that's the kind of message that seems to be sending, which seems a little messed up there.
Sure. And maybe that'll come into play later. Maybe that'll be Macy's slow turn to the dark side, to be like, you can't just say everyone of one particular type of race or type of magic being or whatever. You can't just say all of them are the same as, you can't say all black people are the same or whatever. You can't say that she's the same just because of circumstances outside of her control.
Yeah, it's really dumb to say like all witches are good. Like,
mm-hmm. Well, that's part of what they're doing with the elder storyline, aren't they? The fact the elders are like, we're the good guys and everyone has to do what we say, but really they're doing a lot of shady shit.
Mm-hmm. Which, seems to go backwards on that a bit when it's like she was just lying about the elders, sending her to Tartarus wrongfully. And it's just like, oh, wait, no, she actually was bad.
I felt they should have paid that some more lip service to make that story work more. To be like, she was so ready to believe her because she resurrected her from the dead and she didn't want to believe there was something wrong with her because of her being resurrected like that, and she was manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't great to be like, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, like, they should have made it more gray, I thought, with her story. If you there have been maybe some reason she did what she did, so it's not just like, oh, the witch was right all along. Like, to be like hunting her down, which just seemed psychotic on her behalf too.
Well, the fact that she was willing to do nefarious things like try to murder another witch to get it, and then she's like, why are you attacking me? I'm a witch. It's like, you just put Maggie in your triple enchanted stall. Yeah,
triple enchanted. Oh, that's so
She triple enchanted it. No, I'm going to quadruple channel it. I double dog dare you. No, I triple dog.
Enchant it times infinity. Oh no, times
infinity plus one.
No,
infinity plus one. You can't beat that.
Oh, plus two. No. Plus three. Plus.
I love that Maggie knows this necromancer from work or wherever she knew her from. She'd seen her around. She's like, oh, hey, Nancy with a K. And then they drop that on her. It's like, this is the necromancer that rose me from the dead. And she's like, oh, okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
And they get attacked by that witch, and they
in the middle of getting attacked, they text Harry and Mel, what's up? Like, yo, we're getting attacked.
Yo, one second here.
Yeah. Like, and we know the attack's not done because we cut to Harry and Mel getting the text. That cuts back to them, and they're still in the midst of being attacked.
What do you think that their smartphone auto generators are like? They start writing something, help demon attack, they just fill in for them, so just 2 seconds. So they end up knocking out this witch because Macy starts using some of her super evil powers.
Mm-hmm.
And they have her chained up, and in the middle of this, it's like, Maggie, we got this handled. Why don't you go to that party that you wanted to go to?
Yeah, go to your traffic light party.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, so stupid.
I don't see how this could go wrong.
Yeah, it was very Phoebe.
It was so stupid. And the fact Macy was giving her permission to do it, it's like, you guys could take a couple extra seconds to make sure what the game plan is before you're like, you're dismissed, bye.
Yeah, and then that looks extra dumb when the switch gets away later. It's like, oh, too bad you didn't have Maggie there watching her.
Like, for real. It was so moronic, especially when Nancy is not really acting that untransparent about things. Like, she's still telling her, like, to kill the witch and, like, suggesting some kind of, like, things that might tip her to the side of evil. So even if you thought that she was being framed for something, she's still not a good influence to leave around her.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could have still had her doing that, too, and not just said, like, oh, yeah, well, she was just the evil one. Like, she could still be telling her to do that because, this woman's trying to kill her, so she doesn't wander around.
They could have done that in a different way, though, not just, like, she just keeps saying, like, yeah, you gotta kill her, it's just, we gotta do it,
Yeah, definitely. I wish it was more gray, instead of just being, unbelievable.
I wish it had turned out that she really was framed for this particular thing, so that it was, like, good and bad. Like you said, a gray area. Like, I wish it hadn't been so just black and white about it.
Right.
Macy, when she is protecting Maggie, who at the party is put into this stall filling with water, triple enchanted, and she gets pissed off, so she starts to stop this witch's heart with her powers.
Yeah.
And they gotta have Hero Parker come talk her down?
Yeah, I've been where you've been.
Macy, I know we've probably had 2 conversations ever, but listen, I know where you've been. I got out of it by doing absolutely nothing. I'm in the same position.
I know the bathrooms very well. I took your boyfriend Galvin to the bathroom, remember that? We're tight.
He's passed out in the stall over there, that's why he's not in this episode. Macy, I know you're feeling pretty bad right now, but maybe this would help. Takes out a guitar. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give witches a bad name. Bling.
So what do you think? Are we cowabunga on this?
Stops his heart.
Oh, stop! That's why I was wearing red!
Alistair comes up through the toilet. Ho, ho, ho!
Party's in here!
I got my margs!
Yeah, it's got toilet water in it.
Ew. So, the twist is that Nancy, with a K, was resurrecting all of the people that she resurrected to keep eternal youth by using demon blood to do it. And whoever she resurrects eventually turns into a demon and ups their numbers. And she ends up attacking Parker, not knowing that he is half demon, which I guess breaks the deal. And ends up making her crumble to dust.
That was such a makes it easy moment.
It really was.
Let's wrap this up immediately. It was like, what? I was just...
Makes it easy! As I'm dying, let me explain everything about why this is happening!
Yeah. If I attack the demon, I will die! Like, the witch, too, explains it, too. Hey, let's get together on this explanation of your death.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm good, I guess. I was just gonna kill your sister.
I know, like, are we supposed to feel sympathy for this lady? Like...
Yeah,
and it's not even in a gray way. They just act like it didn't happen, so it's weird.
Yeah, they just act like, oh, that's cool. She, like, burst through our wall like Kool-Aid Man to get this woman, shooting her little magic balls everywhere. Like, how much is that going to cost them to fix?
Oh, yeah.
So the second storyline that they had going on with this was partially they got the Mel and Nico stuff, which is very short. She meets up with Nico at the coffee shop from their first episode date. And somehow Nico just knows about these things, and they know, like, you know, it's everything's bleeding into each other, I guess, bringing up all these memories. And
Mel was having a conversation with Maggie earlier about, like, where Maggie's saying, like, she's, you know, stalking her social media accounts or whatever. Mel's just like, oh yeah, well, I just wanted to know what's going on, you know, with the girl whose memory I wiped and erased from my life. Like, they talk about it so casually, like there's no hurt about this still, which you'd think there would be. I mean, it should still be a fairly fresh wound.
Yeah. Like I said, like, nothing matters in this show, so, like, they just move on very quickly from everything, even though part of this story is the fact that she can't tell Nico any of this stuff, but it's all reminding her of things that they used to do together, or, like, things that they experienced in a relationship where that connection isn't there anymore. But it never really seems to come to any emotional fruition there. It doesn't seem to matter to Mel outside of that one particular scene.
Yeah.
And Harry brings her in because he wants to talk about the fact that he doesn't know if he can be their white lighter anymore. And she just drops, like, she's like, is this about Nico?
Yeah.
And reveals that Nico's around, and he's like, what? And she's like, oh, never mind. What'd you want to talk about? And he's like, okay. They move on. 2 seconds, doesn't matter.
And then they get the text about the attack shortly after, so he's like, alright, let's teleport over there. And then they teleport to, dun dun dun, England, what?
Wah, wah.
Then they go and have a pint after they're like, oh, we got another text and they said they're okay, so we don't care anymore. We're not a part of their story. That's cool. Let's go drink.
They end up in Manchester because that's where his son is. So he's got to resolve these issues in order for his powers to return to normal, because if a white lighter's loyalties are divided, or their attention's divided, or their emotions are unstable, their powers don't work, which was something that was in the original Charmed and was dumb as shit back then too. Yeah. Because the point of a white lighter is to protect witches, and they're always going to have that emotional connection with them, and they're always going to be in danger, and there's always going to be stressful things happening and scary and traumatic things. And so if you're in a terrible situation and emotionally compromised and your powers don't work, it doesn't service being a protector very well.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense. There could be like 2 of them calling him at once, which would split what he wants to do or something, you know. Oh no, there goes his powers, they're out of whack.
But why would they only work perfectly if things are going great for him? Because then what situations does this apply to?
Yeah, has it applied ever?
You would have to be like a massive dick that has no emotional connections to anyone for that to work.
Yeah, soulless robot.
They say that's part of why they wipe their memories, so that they don't have any baggage to hold on to, but that still doesn't prevent them from forming relationships with the people they're in charge of. And that's what happened with the charge that he had before them. Like, she ended up getting put into an asylum or whatever.
Harry's apparently had a relationship with, what's her name? Elder woman. Charity. Like, so, I mean, there's an emotional thing. His powers shouldn't have worked, I guess, since episode 1.
Well, that doesn't make him emotionally divided. That just means that he has conflicting, feelings.
Yeah, well, it's conflicting feelings. So
I guess.
Would possibly compromise his emotional stability, right?
Are white lighters supposed to have a choice in this universe? Because he's acting like he can just retire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, he's like, oh, I can't be your white lighter anymore. It's like, did you have a choice to begin with? Can you just say no?
Yeah, can you resign?
Yeah, can you... Thanks for resurrecting me from the dead. I retire.
Yeah.
Thanks for the powers, though.
Maybe he's just gonna have to go into hiding. I don't know. Elders are so stupid.
their plan is, because Mel is like, okay, well, neither of us have passports, so we're just going to figure this out before, and resolve this so that your powers will work and we can get out of here. And their plan is to just wander the neighborhood aimlessly.
Yeah, and then things just come to them really quickly, though.
They just stumble onto this, luckily. Like, they find a church, and he's like, this church seems familiar. And they're like, look, christening records. Okay, riffle through them for 2 seconds. And, oh, look, here's the right one.
Yeah. Well, Mel goes, hey, maybe you should look around to see if anything seems familiar. And that's when immediately he, turns around, looks at the church, he goes, that's familiar.
Yeah.
Wow, what are the odds?
Makes it easy.
Yeah, and like you said, just they find the christening records immediately. He's like, maybe it was around, he would have been born around this year, so maybe, there's a picture of me!
It was really lucky.
I mean, I kind of liked Mel kind of being his little partner here. I liked some bits of this, even though it all came too quick. It was one of her few plots she's had lately. I guess it didn't kind of seem stupid.
I liked that because it was something that mattered to her because it mattered to him. It wasn't just about this is something that's happening to me and I have to react to it because, I mean, she was kind of stuck there, but she could have made the choice to be like, all right, I'm going to try and find some way out or whatever.
It seems like she cared, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah, especially the scene at the end where they get back and then she's just comforting him about it.
Yeah, because they find his son and he's like, no, I'm glad he's okay, but I can't try and introduce myself into his life as someone else or tell the truth because that would be a bunch of nonsense to him. So basically, it's cool, I'm glad things are fine, and I'm kind of done.
I love that when they find him, it's this emotional scene of watching his son from a distance, not being able to tell him anything about his life. And his son looks like a dorkola. Mm-hmm. He's goofing around with the kids, making goofy faces.
Waving his hands, and you're like,
it's me, Carter! And so they keep cutting back to him, and I'm just thinking, does he know that those are actually his grandkids? Or does he, what if he's just, the neighborhood weirdo? How does he even know that's his son? Get out of here! Shoo him away with the broom! Wow, I wish I never knew who my son was.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was crying at the end. He's like, I thought he'd be cooler.
Yeah.
I'm going to adopt Galvin.
I would have tried to put myself back in his life if he was cool, but I can't. I can't with that guy.
I wanted my son to be a doctor. Instead, I got a clown.
Stupid little kids.
I hate kids. One was enough.
It's there's some trying there, it's Mel and him are talking about that, and he's getting upset and cries and stuff, but it's just you're just gonna be done with that quick, are you? You don't need to rush through everything this quick.
Yeah, for real.
There's some good stuff, but just...
Yeah. I also liked the scene with Macy at the end. She's waiting in the bed, and Maggie and Mel come in to comfort her with the double top buns.
Mm-hmm. And they bring her black coffee like her soul.
I hate Mondays. Get out.
Just wanted to remind you, you're a demon, Macy.
Check your privilege, girls.
Demon Haggard comes in. You're a demon, Macy. She goes off to Demon Warts and leaves the other two.
I was supposed to go to Hogwarts, not Macy.
Wizard School's back. Oh no, there's been a murder at Wizard School. Who done it?
That's right, I'm back.
if they get anyone back.
The one returning actor from
Yeah.
OG Charmed.
They should get that guy back. Was his name Gillard or something?
Was it Gilderoy? Like Gilderoy Lockhart? Or
Yeah.
Gideon, I think that was.
Gideon. Yeah.
It's Whodunit, that's his name.
It's
They brought
Whodunit.
Whodunit back. So Macy goes to Parker Mom and makes a deal with her. Like, first of all, this is the confrontation. She's like, yeah, I know you're Parker's mom. I know you know about all this shit, whatever. Done. Let's make a deal.
Yeah, like after that scene happened, I asked you, I was like, did they talk about this before? Like, because I was...
The fact that the last time that there was any sort of interaction was when Galvin and Macy were sneaking into the laboratory to get the information where they found out that Maggie had the same father as Macy. Mm-hmm. They were sneaking around like there are some big consequences if they get caught.
Yeah.
And then this time, like, she just confronts her, like, whatever, and then nothing comes of it, like, just a big pushover.
Yeah, she goes, hey, I know you know that I'm a witch, and I know you're trying to help your stupid son Parker, so let's make a deal. Oh, okay.
And she goes, no deal. Slowly shut the door. What?
No deal! Somebody call an ambulance! Da-na-na-na.
What happened to women supporting women?
And what happened to witches supporting witches, right? No necromancers, they're evil. Never trust anyone different than you. Charmed.
So they make a deal that she's going to help her figure out how to get the demon out of her before the ticking clock stops, whatever the time frame is. I don't know how long it takes to become a demon. It's been since she was a baby, so apparently it's not that quick. And of course they end with Maggie telling Parker that she doesn't hate him.
Yeah, and then she's like, let's do some magic drugs together.
Yeah. We're cool now. Our story's done. That was 10 years ago. And Sleeper Agent Lucy, dun dun dun. What is even the last line of the episode? She says something to, like, the other fraternity girls.
Like,
Where's my zit cream, bitches?
That's what they're gonna end on. Just lean into it, Charmed. Just lean into it. We all know you want to. Just do it. I think it's time to move on to the fashion segment.
were you going to talk about red, yellow, or green?
Who knows? So this is all Maggie. It's all Maggie all the time on the fashion segment.
Stop purse is my personal favorite.
That was beautiful. So we got a leopard print fuzzy pajama jacket. A jacket for your pajamas. An ascot with rainbow ribbons all over it. A floral jacket with a faux fur collar over a holographic pink skirt, which I believe also had an ascot attached to it. And green 80s power suit with a stop sign purse. Mm-hmm. Which reminded me of one of my personal favorite jackets from Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
That I found on Etsy. Where it's a giant green jacket with stop sign patches by Michael Hoban. And I liked this kind of throwback, and I love any sort of thing that will remind me of Quantum Leap, so it gets 2 thumbs up from me.
You like Quantum Leap?
What?
It's a little like mixed though at this party, isn't it? That she's got a green suit and then a red stop purse.
I know, that's a mixed signal, huh? Like, they're like, want to get together, and she's like,
Stop! Respect women!
I thought that's the point of this.
Look at this jerk! You're on dating for me forever! Misogyny! Leo!
Smells like Doritos and white privilege in here.
Fuck, I forgot about that line. Man, I can't say that this show is good. I think it's getting into like this so bad it's good territory. Like it's kind of enjoying how ridiculous it is.
They have like some character moments, but then they go into so far into the stupid.
I don't know overall with this episode. Like, would you call it a good one? A bad one?
Like I said at the beginning, I don't know, like, because it's so mixed. Like, there's a few good parts, mostly with Harry. Yeah, there's a few parts with Macy too, but like, I felt like that necromancer story was such a misfire, at least what they presented in this episode about it. I don't think that went anywhere very good or satisfying. And same with the witch, like, she's good because she's a witch. Like, that's a really stupid thing to say, guys.
Yeah. I think if it had been separated into two parts that were just focused on Harry's story and Macy's story, and even the stuff with Mel and Nico, if they just dedicate some time to it, like if they were separate and had time, I wouldn't say they're bad. And I wouldn't say they're bad now either, but I wouldn't say they're good because I don't feel they're complete.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's in the middle right now. I don't think it's any better or worse than it was. I think last week actually was more fun because that was the Glee one.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was, like, it was corny fun. Like, we laughed a lot at that. And this one, like, I don't know. It's just very mixed.
I think, too, like, it would have been better if the witch ended up dying. Maybe not directly by Macy's hands, but, have her die during their encounter and, like, have Macy feel really bad about that. And, like, have that go in a direction where maybe she keeps going to that necromancer and the other sisters are unsure of that. And, like, we still don't have, like, maybe she's got some ideas that are good, but maybe it's kind of skewing maybe towards taking her into a dark direction.
Yeah, I feel that's what they should have done too, and I feel they should have left it more ambiguous, like that witch dies before she could really find out, like, wait a minute, was this necromancer not who she claimed to be?
Yeah, leave that open. Who knows?
Yeah. It was all wrapped up in a very makes it easy moment.
Yeah, that was so dumb. Just, oh no. Oh, she was like, what was it? She's just cursed. She attacked a demon. She turned into Crackle.
Yeah, like that was a really lame Deus Ex Machina at the end there.
Like, just took a decision out of anyone's hands. Just like, ugh.
All very clean by the end.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's it for Charmed Hard with a Vengeance this week. Thanks for listening, everyone. It'd be great if you could subscribe or spread the word. Hashtag Charmed Hard with a Vengeance. Hashtag Lucy Sleeper Agent. Hashtag Makes It Easy. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you Charmanders next week. Bye.